151 yards on the ground a game. Spartanburg is giving up just over 14 points a game.
Well, as I see it here, Jeff, I think that the biggest key in the game is right here. We're trying to see whether Spartanburg's defense can control Northwestern's offense. And at this point so far, 2 plays, and Northwestern's moved the ball all about 30 yards up the field already.
The first running play of the night will get just a yard or so. Rod Brown, or it was Jamie Nichols, I think, and Brown the lead blocker. So Nichols will get a yard. Second down and 9 at the Spartanburg 43. Northwestern very balanced. They have averaged 166 yards on the ground, 146 yards in the air in the first 8 weeks of the season. They go with one back, that's Rod Brown. And they give the ball to Brown, and he can't get to the outside. He'll pick up about 3 yards to the 40.
That was an interesting formation there, Jeff, as they put 3 wide receivers out to the wide side to try and split Spartanburg's defense out a little bit there to make them think they were going to throw the football again that time. But however, they ran the ball inside, and Brown picked up good yardage.
Omar Dawkins made the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 6 from the 40-yard line. Spartanburg defensively has Rashad Fitzpatrick and Amon Banks at the ends, Ronald Harris and Sean Gillum, who was just called up off the JV team. He's a big 10th grader at the tackles. They run wide tackle 6 or a 4-4 look. Sarn will throw on 3rd and 6, and he's got Alan Williams open. Made a nifty move after the catch, and they'll have a first down at the 26. Damon Herndon makes the tackle for Spartanburg, but it'll be Northwestern's 3rd first down of the series.
3 pass plays all together right now for Northwestern, and all the receivers at this point have run the same pattern. As you can see, Sarn dropped back the pass and hit Alan Williams out there on that curl route again. So he's been wide open now for 3 straight times.
A gain of 14 yards. And it's a first down at the Viking 26. Opening series of the ball game. Nichols will have yardage to about the 19, maybe the 18-yard line.
Northwestern's doing a great job of mixing up what they're showing Spartanburg on defense. They're showing all kinds of different formations. One time they'll come out in 3 wide receivers. That time they just got in a basic pro set and ran the ball off the left tackle.
A 7-yard gain by Nichols. It'll be 2nd and 3 at the 19-yard line. Outside linebackers for Spartanburg, Keith Garner and Brian Delaney. The inside backers, Tracy Woodson and Drew Darby. And Sarn hands the ball off, and Nichols will get to about the 15-yard line, and that looks like it'll be enough for a Northwestern first down, and it will be.
Very impressed with how Northwestern's able to move the football this early against Spartanburg's defense.
Northwestern starting on its own 28. 4 first downs in the series, and it's a first down at the 15. Spartanburg's 3 deep. Andre Rogers and Tim Copeland at the corners, and Damon Herndon is the safety. First down at the 15 for Northwestern, running from the I. Sarn calls the play at the line of scrimmage.
Looks like he's checking the play off, Jeff. Looked like it just took too much time. He was checking that play because the defense showed him something different there.
And the flag will cost Northwestern 5 yards for delay of game. It'll take the ball back to the 20-yard line, 1st and 15. And we can tell you while we have a chance that we'd like to thank our sponsors, including Interstate Rental Gala Affairs. If you need it for a day or a week, don't buy it, rent it. And our thanks also go to Substation 2 on Cherry Road across from Winthrop. Eat in or phone ahead for quick takeout. 1st and 15, Northwestern at the 20-yard line. And they go trips out to the long side of the field, and Sarn looks that way. Throwing to the sideline, it is caught by Pete Burris. It'll be a 1st and goal, I think. Tim Copeland makes the tackle.
That was just a beautiful catch out there at that time by Burris. As you can see him, they faked that little moved outside, and then he came over by the sideline and just went up and got the ball.
A 15-yard play, 1st and goal at the 5, and Sarn is 3 for 3 to 3 different receivers.
Sarn looks very, very composed tonight also, I might add. I think that he looks like he is just a field general out there, and he's taken the team just straight down the field and just shoved it down Spartanburg's throat at this point.
Sarn runs the option, tosses to Nichols, and Jamie gets to about the 2. Rashad Fitzpatrick and Tim Copeland combined on the tackle for Spartanburg. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Well, it's a good sign for Northwestern when you've got those defensive backs having to come up and make all the tackles. That means that those offensive linemen are pushing them off the football.
Well, you never had to make that many defensive stops with the Patriots, did you?
Well, a few in my day.
2nd and goal from the 2. Alan Williams comes in motion. Sarn running the option. He'll keep it. That is the 7th touchdown rushing for Sarn this year. He had 3 last week, and Northwestern is on the board 6-0.
Very, very impressive drive by the Trojans. I believe they took that ball almost 80 yards straight downfield in about 8 to 10 plays and controlled the football, and that's pretty much what they have to do to win this ball game tonight.
72 yards in 10 plays. And I think we're going to get a chance to see the touchdown again. First, Jay Sharp for the extra point. Has not missed one this year. He's 20 for 20. And make it 21 for 21. And Northwestern draws first blood, 7-0, with 7:27 to play in the first quarter. Here's the touchdown again. Sarn will keep it on the option right and just walks in.
Well, I believe he could have probably pitched that ball as well. I believe either one of them would have been. It looked like nobody was out there for Spartanburg.
Got a good block from Rod Brown. And it's 7-0 Northwestern early. So the Trojans show that they can move the football. And Rick, what you said about can Spartanburg stop Northwestern? Well, not on the first series.
Well, there wasn't any doubt about it. Northwestern just took the ball basically and jammed it right down their throats. It looks to me like if it continues at this pace, Northwestern will be in good shape the rest of the night.
Sarn 3 for 3 on the series for 42 yards. That is Steve Davis back to receive Jay Sharp's kick.
Mighty impressive looking athlete standing back there as well.
Yeah, we'll have a few words to say about Steve Davis as the night goes on. The national high school champion in the 100 meters put that kind of speed into a 6'2" and 220-pound package. And it's a little bit on the awesome side. Davis won't get his chance this time. And Spartanburg will start on about the 14-yard line. Good coverage by Northwestern.
That's James Scobie, Mike Ligon, and Ned Wiley.
Joe Hollis ran the kickoff back, but only to the 14-yard line.
Now we get a chance to see Mr. Davis in action all of a sudden here. Things have changed over.
Davis will be the tailback in Spartanburg's eye. He's averaging 9.9 yards a carry, 15 touchdowns in Spartanburg's 8 games.
Those are amazing statistics, too. You know, and when you take into effect that he probably only carries the ball 15 or 16 times a game.
Brian Smith looks long. He's hit as he lets it go, and the pass falls incomplete. Lamont Sherry nailed him on the pass. That is what Northwestern has to do.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. Northwestern has to put pressure on Brian Smith. You know, he's one of the finest quarterbacks that there is in the state this year. And that time, Lamont Cherry just made a quick move inside and moved outside on his man.
Brian Smith, 55% completions this year on 111 passes for 1,139 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Sidney Miller, the fullback, and Steve Davis, the tailback, in the Spartanburg eye. They have twins to the long side of the field. 2nd and 10 from the 14. Toss to Davis. And they'll get him out on about the 18. Mike Ligon made the tackle for Northwestern.
That was an outstanding play by Benji Young also. He really shot through that gap. When it just looked like there was a bit of daylight outside for Mr. Davis, Benji Young shot through and got him around the ankles.
You have to get Davis before he gets a chance to get things moving downfield.
Well, that's pretty evident. Look at the size on this guy back here.
People compare him to Herschel Walker as far as a combination of size and speed.
Well, he really looks like it in that football uniform. If you look at him standing back there, he's got some awesome power in his thighs.
3rd and 7 from the 17. They toss to Davis again. He's hit hard, but breaks a tackle. And he's out to near the 30 for a first down.
Well, there's an example right there of Northwestern is going to have to gang tackle to bring him down. There's no doubt about it that, you know, with that kind of leg strength and that kind of drive out of his legs, that Northwestern is going to have to get down there and gang tackle him to bring him down.
Lamont Cherry made the tackle. Somebody hit him a good lick and just bounced off.
Well, I think that's a tribute to him and his power. There's no doubt about it. He can do pretty much what he wants to do out there.
First down at the 29, and they give it to Davis inside, and he's to about the 35. There's a flag down. Set that Northwestern defense for you. Maynard Caldwell is at one end. Caldwell had a great game against Union last week, 13 tackles and 2 assists. Also caused a fumble and recovered a fumble. This penalty will be against the Vikings. The other end is Bernard Martin. The tackles are Scott Williams and Lamont Cherry. Eric Gensmer is the nose man. Benji Young, the team's leading tackler, 46 tackles and 41 assists. At one linebacker, Ty Wayne Taylor on the other side. And the corners, Nard Wiley, Brian McCluskey. The safeties, Ronell McCrory and Anquan Gist. Northwestern giving up 10 points a game and just over 130 yards of offense a game.
That is really a great statistic. And I was talking to Coach Carroll before the game and Coach Wallace. They feel that Steve Davis is probably, as good a running back that may have ever come out of this state. So they understand that they're going to have to get a lot of people around the football to bring him down.
It's 1st and 15 at the 24-yard line, and Brian Smith to throw under a rush, and he dumps it off. It's caught by Fields, the tight end, who turns it upfield. And Fields is to the Northwestern 45, a big gainer for Spartanburg. Nard Wiley making the tackle on Damon Fields, their 230-pound tight end, who is a major college player.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that either. He is, as we see the replay on this
Safety
again.
blitz. Here comes Anquan Gist, and they get it to the area that Gist left. And that's Fields, who turns it up for a big game.
Yeah, he is being recruited by all the major schools around here as well. So you see Spartanburg has about 5 major college prospects on this team.
A 31-yard gain, first down at the Northwestern 45. It's 7-0 Trojans. 5:15 to play first quarter.
He's checking this play off, Jeff.
Smith has time and goes deep. It is juggled and caught by Lee Smith. Lee Smith, their home run receiver, averaging over 40 yards a catch.
Well, he just took a straight post pattern right down the middle of the field, and there was nobody back there on him at the time. Very impressed with the way Brian Smith threw that ball down there. Well, he really let that one air out. That was a good 50, 55 yards in the air.
Right on the fingertips of Lee Smith.
They blocked.
And the extra point attempt by Cooper is blocked.
Jeff, that could be a big, big play down the stretch.
Bob Cooper's extra point attempt was blocked, and I think we're going to get a chance to take a look at replay. Here's the touchdown pass. Smith given too much time. You can't let him sit back there. And Lee Smith, a sophomore wideout, averaging over 40 yards a catch, caught 3 balls in the Rock Hill game here for 141 yards.
Well, he really, he got out there. He showed his own speed that time and got behind the Trojans and just made a very nice catch. He bobbled it there for a second. Didn't know whether he was going to be able to hold on to it or not, but he kept his hands up and pulled the ball in.
5 plays, 86-yard drive.
Looks like we're going to see quite an offensive display here if this continues, Jeff.
Well, these teams have so many weapons that it's just difficult to stop them. 7-6 Northwestern. Little more than 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Mundy Woodruff kicks off for Spartanburg. Alan Williams at the 10. And he's out to the 27. Keith Garner and Tracy Woodson down to make the tackle for the Vikings. Sark at our second look at the Northwestern offense.
Spartanburg did a good job of kicking that ball into the corner and not giving Williams a lot of room to run that time. He's very, very dangerous as a kickoff return man and as a punt returner. So what it looked like to me that they tried to hem him into the sidelines.
You've got to be aware of where Williams is and try not to give him a chance to break one because he's done that so often.
Oh, definitely.
At the 28-yard line, Sarn swings the ball to Nichols. Jamie has nowhere to go. And the play will be stopped for no gain. Keith Garner made the tackle. 2nd and 10. Call it the 28-yard line.
Northwestern is very evident early here in the game. You can see Northwestern's plan coming into this ball game is definitely they're going to air the ball out. They're going to throw the football because I believe they feel that they can get their receivers isolated one-on-one on Spartanburg's defensive backs.
2nd and 10 at the 28. Northwestern again in a passing formation. And Sarn throws to Williams, but incomplete as he threw it short out across the 35. It will be 3rd and 10, and that's Sarn's first incompletion in 5 throws.
It was another curl pattern. Again, you know, Northwestern has had that pattern open all night, and I'm sure they're going to continue to throw it until Spartanburg does something to stop it. Even though he didn't come up with the ball, he was open again. David Sarn just threw it a little bit short that time because he was under a little bit of pressure.
Northwestern's offensive line has done a great job in protecting Sarn this year. They've not given up many sacks. Sarn has not really been pressured that much. He's only thrown 2 interceptions and more than 140 passes now.
That's a real tribute to those offensive linemen also, because Northwestern, you know, they probably don't get as much credit as they deserve.
Quentin Burris, the motion man. Sarn to the sidelines. It is caught, and it will be very close to a first down. Tim Copeland made the tackle on Ron Gillum.
They've isolated again, one-on-one out there, and Ron Gillum came up with the catch. Another curl pattern.
Let's take a look at it again. That's very close to a first down.
They're going to throw that pass, and you can mark my word on this. They're going to continue to throw that until Spartanburg gets themselves in some type of a defense to stop it. With that wide tackle 6 defense that they run, it leaves them very, very vulnerable to the pass. So Northwestern feels that they will give up, you know, their running game a little bit as long as they can enhance their passing game.
It looks like it's going to be short. It'll be 4th down and less than 1 at the 37. Well, Sarn off to a great start. He's 5 of 6 for 49 yards. Smith for Spartanburg, 2 of 3 on their drive for 76 yards.
Well, first big decision is coming up right now for Coach Moose Wallace. Let's see what they're going to do.
They're going to kick the football. David Sarn is the punter. So Northwestern stopped on its 2nd offensive series. Andre Rogers is back to receive.
That's a fine punt by Sarn right there. You got a good bounce out of this, but that's a fine, fine punt that he just laid out there. It really hems Spartanburg back deep in their own territory.
It's on about the 13-yard line. That's a 50-yard kick.
He did a nice job of keeping that away from the return man as well to minimize any return yardage that they may have been able to get.
Spartanburg, which took over on its 14 to start the game, has it at the 13 now. 7-6, Northwestern, 3 minutes and 10 seconds to play first quarter. Twins out to the long side of the field. Steve Davis, who was sick earlier this week, missed a day of school and a day of practice. The tailback in Spartanburg's eye, and here comes Davis. Gets hit by Cherry first, and is stopped after a gain of a yard or so.
Good job. There's an example right there of how the Trojans are going to have to play Mr. Davis tonight because, as you notice, they got about 8 to 9 people on him around the football, and that's what it's going to take. You're going to have to slow him down.
You let him get up ahead of steam, and you might as well get your kick receiving team on the field.
That's exactly right.
He's the state record holder in the 100 meters, the national high school champion in that event. Probably the fastest player to ever play high school football in the state, certainly over the length of a football field. Here comes Davis on the draw, breaks a tackle, another one and a third one, and gets out across the 20-yard line.
Well, it's just look at his tremendous leg drive. He just keeps his legs moving, and finally, before Nard Wiley was able to come up and bring him down.
Here's Davis on the draw.
Look how he brings his legs up real high here to continue that leg movement.
Well, that was Benji Young who had first shot at him, and Benji doesn't bounce off many people like that.
Well, Benji's probably as good a defensive player that's ever played in the purple and gold at Northwestern. So, that's the kind of, shows you what kind of a running back that Steve Davis is.
3rd and a yard at the 22. Davis has carried 4 times for 24 yards. And flags are down. Spartanburg may have taken too much time.
Please report to the ticket office at the Constitution Avenue side, please.
It's against Northwestern. The Trojans lined up offside. So that gives Spartanburg a first down and keeps the drive going.
Penalties against the Trojans will give Spartanburg a first and 10.
Well, we had a play here last week, Rick, where Chester, with like 2 minutes to go in the ballgame, had a fourth down inside their 15. Rock Hill lined up offside to give them a first down. They took the ball down and scored.
Yeah, mistakes and penalties at key times in a ball game will just kill a team. So that just gave Spartanburg a first down as an example
Davis
right there.
Can't get away this time, and he'll lose a yard
Number 66,
as Scott Williams made the tackle for Northwestern.
That was a great play by Scott Williams inside, you know, to shed his blocker and be able to pull off to the side like that and bring Steve Davis down by his ankles.
So Davis will lose a yard. Davis coming into the ball game with 1,254 yards, set a goal of 2,000 before the season started. Brian Smith to throw. He's under pressure and has a man in the flat. DeCarlos Jenkins is out across the 40-yard line for a Spartanburg first down.
Northwestern had a safety blitz again that time, and
Benji Young made the tackle on Jenkins, and there's the experience of a quarterback like Smith, who's been a starter since the 9th grade. Didn't start last year, but he's been around a long time, and he can pick up things like blitzes.
Right, Anquan Gist was on a safety blitz there, and as you can see, Spartanburg threw the ball out in the flat where he left from.
A 15-yard gain, and here's Davis breaking to the outside. There's that speed. And he really put a lick on Anquan Gist.
He has got some tremendous power. Not only does he have tremendous power, but he has unbelievable speed to match that power.
Did you ever play against anybody like that?
Earl Campbell, yes. Earl Campbell, he really reminds me a lot of Earl Campbell because he's got the potential to get as big as Earl, believe it or not. Earl was about 240 pounds. And right now, I think you could compare him to Christian Okoye. That's like what it's like out there playing against a smaller defensive back.
Brian Smith runs the option toss to Davis. He'll lose a yard.
Great play by the Trojans there. Coming up, Anquan Gist. Made a nice play. Davis looks a little bit tired at this point, and rightfully so. He's been able to carry the ball successfully here early in the ball game.
That's going to do it for the first quarter, and a memorable first quarter it was. 7-6 Northwestern, second quarter coming up.
Is back on TNT. More games, more playoff games, more slam dunks, more pretty faces, more great talent, more magic, more Michael, more of this. Nobody plays the NBA like TNT. Bigger than life.
Homecoming got a great crowd, and we've got a couple of heavyweights slugging it out tonight.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, both these teams are probably the two finest teams in the upper state. And right now, it looks like who's going to be able to hold the ball and continue scoring. At this point, Northwestern, I think, has done a little bit better on defense than Spartanburg has so far. But, you know, we got 3 more quarters to play also. So, you know, and a lot of that's going to depend on what Steve Davis does back here tonight.
Well, these are two teams that have just dominated everybody they've played so far. Northwestern hasn't trailed since the first week of the season. Play fake, and Brian Smith is going to Damon Fields, who got open, and it'll be a first and goal at the 3.
Well, they did a great job that time play faking that inside. And Damon Fields just snuck his way out and found an open area and just headed that way.
Damon Fields, 6'2", 230, big-time tight end prospect, 34 yards here. And Brian Smith is 4 out of 5 for 125 yards.
Those are pretty impressive numbers early in a ball game.
Spartanburg runs out of a power I. And which way is the offside going to go? Did Spartanburg draw Northwestern? Eric Gensmer came across the line of scrimmage. Spartanburg has a chance to put Northwestern
It's
behind
against
for the first time in
Spartanburg,
8
I
weeks.
believe. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be against Spartanburg. Nope, they're going to call it against the Trojans.
It'll take the ball inside the 2-yard line.
Well, this is a big series right here because I believe Northwestern, if they could buckle down here and hold Spartanburg out of there and force them to kick a field goal, that'd be a big inspiration to their defense.
You know, as many points as Spartanburg scored this year, they have not attempted a field goal all season.
Well, that's probably because Steve Davis has been running for touchdowns from a long, long way out.
He has 15 touchdowns this season, and there's another one.
Straight power eye. He just ran it up inside, followed his lead blocking.
If we can see that again, I don't know if that might have been Damon Fields who lined up in the backfield who carried that in. Is it 43 or 48? Let's see. I still don't know.
I'm not sure either.
I think Fields was in the backfield, but as a blocker. I believe that was Davis out of the tailback. Spartanburg going for 2 after they missed the extra point in the first quarter. Smith scrambles right, throws to the corner. It's broken up by Nard Wiley and incomplete. Knocked it away from Fields. 12-7 Spartanburg.
These are big points right here, Jeff. You know, that Northwestern keeps denying them. You know, by blocking that first extra point and then denying them a 2-point conversion, that could come back and haunt Spartanburg later in the ball game.
Early in the second, it's Spartanburg 12, Northwestern 7. It's been an offensive show, Rick, and I think that a lot of people expected it that way.
Well, I agree with you, Jeff. It's just too many talented players on both of these ball clubs. They've got some big play players on both teams. And as I see and watch Northwestern get ready to line up back there, it looks like they're going to send Alan Williams back there deep again. And anytime he touches the football, he's a danger to go all the way as well.
Well, Northwestern has put Spartanburg back deep twice, but Spartanburg's had it twice, and they've gone 86 and 87 yards for their touchdown drives.
Well, Northwestern is definitely going to have to buckle it up on defense and find a way to stop Steve Davis, because there's no doubt in my mind that they've got to stop him and they've got to stop Spartanburg's passing game a little bit better than they have early on.
Well, Davis has carried it 7 times for 45 yards, and Brian Smith 4 out of 5 for 125.
Well, those are amazing
so
numbers.
far, really Northwestern has not been able to stop either one.
Well, that's the truth. And you know, Northwestern, they're going to have to find a way to get a lot of people around the football, and they've got to hunker down a little bit on their defensive coverages back there, because it looks to me like that too many guys are running around wide open back there.
Nichols gets a couple of yards on first down from the 20 as Northwestern running with split backs for, I believe, the first time tonight.
I believe I look for David Soren to throw the football on this down. As you can tell, that Spartanburg running out of that wide tackle 6, you know, they've stacked a lot of people up front to try to stop the run. So it leaves them a little bit vulnerable to the pass. I would look for some type of a curl pattern again at this point and see if Spartanburg's going to do anything to stop that.
The curls have been open.
They definitely have been open, and Spartanburg has not stopped them all evening yet. There it is again.
He's got a man open. That's Ron Gillum. Turns it upfield, 40, and down to the 43.
Well, I think
a 21-yard gain before Damon Herndon made the tackle.
Well, Coach Wallace is going to just continue to run it until Spartanburg does something to stop it. And so far in this ball game now, with 10:33 to go in the second quarter, they've done nothing to stop the curl pattern.
Let's take a look at it. Here it is. And there's Gillum open again, makes a nice move after the catch and picks up another 10 yards.
Well, it looks to me like that they've got that pattern whenever they want it.
Sarn, 6 of 7 for 70 yards. Both quarterbacks putting on a show. Nichols gets a yard or two to the 45.
As you can tell again, Spartanburg stacking their people tight inside again. So I would look for Northwestern again here in another definite passing down. I would look for the curl again.
As long as it's there, you've got to exploit it.
There's no doubt about it. And I think Coach Wallace and Northwestern is as good a coached football team in this state, and I think you're going to see them continue to run patterns like that until Spartanburg does something to stop it.
These teams hooked up in a great one last year, with Northwestern coming up with a couple of touchdowns late to win it in Spartanburg, 22-21. Sarn runs the option, and he'll keep it. Sarn will have a first down to the Spartanburg 45 before Amon Banks made the tackle.
That was a great call, actually, because they really spread Spartanburg's defense out again. It looked to me like Spartanburg, here's the replay on that again. It looked to me like Spartanburg got in a position to possibly cover that curl route that time, and they just ran the option outside and exploited it a little bit because the linebacker had walked off.
Darwin Sizemore was beaten on the play by Sarn, and it'll be a first down after a gain of 11.
David Sarn's playing a great ball game early on.
At the Spartanburg 45, Sarn will throw to the sideline to Pete Burris, and he's interfered with.
Well, you hear a lot of people on the Spartanburg side here complaining about that, but it looked to me like a definite interference. It looked like he definitely impeded his pass to the football, and so it looks like Northwestern is probably going to get some positive yardage out of this.
Here it is. You'll see Brendan Delaney bump Burris.
Well, he just didn't give him enough room. He needed to, give him a little bit more room because the ball probably would have been incomplete, and catchable, but by him crossing his feet up and staying so close to him, then you see Northwestern's getting 15 yards more down the field.
At the Spartanburg 30-yard line. Both teams have been able to move the football. And there you see the people out beyond the goalpost there. They've just ringed the stadium tonight. Well, it looks like a Northwestern Rock Hill game.
That's just what I was going to say. It looks exactly like that. That's a nice call. That's a nice call.
Rod Brown gets to the 21 for a gain of 9. Amon Banks and Damon Herndon made the tackle.
Coach Wallace and Northwestern are doing an outstanding job of mixing up their plays. As you could tell, that was another option, but this time he handed the ball inside to Rod Brown, and David Sarn took quite a lick after he handed the ball off, so that time they were expecting Sarn to keep it on the option.
It's second down and a little more than 1 at the Spartanburg 21. Wow. Northwestern started from its 20, and Nichols will have the first down and cuts it back. First and goal inside the 5. Herndon made the tackle, but another big gainer for Northwestern.
I really like the way Jamie Nichols made a cut out there. He really looks like a shifty kind of running back, more like a James Brooks type running back from Cincinnati Bengals. Watch how he really shifts his feet here, puts a little move there, slips back to the outside, but they got him 5 additional yards just by that little move.
16 yards and a first down at the 5. Here's Nichols. Gets to about the 3. Herndon again made the tackle for Spartanburg, and he's been in on a number of them.
Well, this will be an interesting call right here at this point. Second down, 3 yards to go. Sarn's getting the call from the sideline now from Coach Wallace. I'll be interested to see if they run the ball here again. They've had some success here the last few minutes of the ball game running the ball all of a sudden. So they're going to come out this time and split with 2 wideouts and look like they're going to get in the I formation and possibly hand it to Nichols again.
Second down from the 3. Alan Williams in motion, and whistles are blown. See what this one's about. Jamie Nichols has carried it 7 times for 33 yards.
Well, the Northwestern players are pointing against Spartanburg.
And the Vikings lined up offside. So that will take it down to about the 1-yard line or close to it.
Northwestern's bringing in their power set right now, bringing an extra tight end into the ball game. So I definitely think you're probably going to see some type of a run on this down anyway, being in a second down and we're so close to the goal line.
Northwestern doesn't like to get fancy down here. They just want to power it in. They go wishbone. Anquan Gist. He's in. And Northwestern answers the Spartanburg score with one of its own. Northwestern down for the first time since week 1, comes right back to take the lead.
Well, that's a tribute to their athletes over there and their coaching staff, because they definitely exploited Spartanburg's defense all the way down the field. They basically just took what Spartanburg gave them, and it just moved the ball down the field.
Lee Treadway is on for the extra point. He has also not missed one this year, and this one makes it 14-12. Northwestern with 7:05 to play in the first half.
Well, this has really been a battle so far. You know, you're going to see a replay on this Right here, Sarn pitches the ball back to Anquan Gist right here, and he just ducks his head and barrels his way into the end zone.
Jay Sharp will kick off.
Jay Sharp will kick off Northwestern. Back on top, 14-12.
Long-distance calling appears to be the same regardless of which company you use, but there are differences. And with one company, Community Long Distance, those differences mean real advantages to you. First, you save money. Second, your charges and savings are shown on your local telephone bill. And third, wrong numbers can be adjusted by your local telephone operator. To subscribe, call 328-2534 for a Community Long Distance, bringing you a touch closer.
Boy, this is Major High School, and our replay machine has gotten a workout, and I'm sure it's going to continue to be used a lot tonight. Lee Smith gets to the 40-yard line, and Spartanburg will start on about the 42. Quentin Burris knocked Lee Smith out of bounds.
Well, I tell you, Lee Smith's got some serious speed on him as well. I mean, Steve Davis is a fast guy, and I think Lee Smith, you know, he looks like he's got some pretty good legs on him as well.
Yeah, he's just a 10th grader. Oh. They keep coming at Spartan High, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do.
It's always been that way.
Yeah, it sure has.
Spartanburg first down on its 42. 14-12 Northwestern, midway through the second quarter.
Northwestern needs to come up with some plays on defense. You know, you look at them at this point, they give it inside again.
Davis. Ty Wayne Taylor hit him first. Davis managed to keep his feet, and he'll get nearly 3 yards. He's close to the 45. Second down and 7.
Northwestern did a good job that time of getting people around the football. Now, what they're going to have to do is continue that if they want to continue to be successful with Steve Davis.
Davis has carried 8 times for 48 yards. He averages only 16 yards or 16 carries a game.
He's halfway there then tonight already, isn't he?
He'll carry it more than that tonight.
Yeah,
Smith has an open man. And
fumble there.
The 40, the ball on the ground. Carlos Jenkins fumbled it. Spartanburg thinks that they've recovered. But we do not have a signal from the officials yet.
He really took a big lick out there.
Spartanburg got it back.
Got a replay here.
Damon Fields recovered it. Here's Jenkins.
Nice lick.
Boy, it looked like Northwestern in position to pick up that ball.
It sure did. Had a lot of purple jerseys around that ball that time. Northwestern's going to have to do something about stopping Spartanburg's passing game. That's at this point, you know, it looks to me like they're real concerned with stopping Steve Davis with the run, and he's hurting them a little bit. But right now, their passing game seems to be hurting the Trojans.
Oh, nice down, and Davis got hit by Benji Young as he took the handoff. But let's check the penalty. It'll be against Spartanburg.
I think that's the big key to the game right now is Brian Smith, the quarterback from Spartanburg. Northwestern's going to have to do something to slow him down a little bit because he's got a lot of yardage early on in the game now.
I'll give you a minute and we'll figure this up for you here. We got about 150 yards, 5 completions, and 6 attempts.
Wow. 30-yard average.
He's aired it out.
It's hard.
An excellent deep passer.
Well, you know, it's hard to win when you're giving up a 30-yard average. So Northwestern's going to have to do something about, you know, shutting down that Spartanburg passing game a little bit. But, you know,
it may have given him a
tough.
few more yards than he actually had on that last completion. We have a timeout on the field right now as the officials are
moving people
going over
back
to discuss something with the Northwestern bench.
You know, this is probably, you know, Coach Wallace, it's got to be a very difficult job to prepare for a team like this because, you know, when you've got an outstanding running back like this and you've got a quarterback who can throw the ball as well.
So how do you defense everything that Spartanburg can do?
Well, you basically, what you have to do is you almost have to play tendencies. You know, what they've done in the past when they get into a certain formation, what are they going to run? And, you know, it's almost like a guessing game. Here it is right now. See, he fakes a pass.